Meet consolidation is the process that takes place with the home team. They're the ones that are responsible for putting together the actual meet, importing both teams' entry files and roster files, and compiling one swim meet where all the reports will be done, the meet will be run from, and so forth. Meet consolidation is the process of actually taking every available lane in every heat and making sure that it's used. Most teams, all teams in fact, when they do their entries, the entries are done blind, with the home team putting their entries in the even lanes, the visiting team putting their entries in the odd lanes. When that's done, in some cases you may have one team with a great number of swimmers from one age group, where the other team may have very few. So you may have situations where you have the first heat is full where every lane is used, and then in heats 2, 3, 4, say there are 7 extra heats, the visiting team is the only one with entries in 3 lanes, and you have 6 lanes in the pool. Well, it would make sense to use every single available lane. In heat number 1, teams always want to stick with the odd even lane assignment situation. It simplifies things for the purposes of scoring and a lot of other features. However, in heats 2 and beyond, you want to make sure that every lane is used regardless of the odd even heat lane assignment. In order to consolidate the entries, once the entries have been imported, you would go to the Run menu and notice you've got your events up here that are listed off. Relay events, and note, heats. In any situation where you have 2 or more heats, and actually it's 3 or more, you would need to go look at that particular event to make sure that every heat and lane are being used. So say for example, let's look at event number 11. I have 9 heats in this event. So obviously there might be an opportunity to take advantage of this. If I click on that event, it brings it up, and I want to go to the Adjust menu again. This allows me to look at an overview of the entire event. In most cases, we want to look at as many heats as possible. So if you have all these athletes listed here, if you don't want to view them and want to view more heats, click on the Hide Athletes button, and it'll allow you to see more heats. In some cases, you may have so many heats that you still have to scroll down to view everything, and you can simply do that over there. Notice Heat 1 is fully occupied. Heat 2 is fully occupied. We get to Heat 3, we've got an open lane. Heat 4, notice we're only using 2 lanes. And notice the colors of the heats alternate, so it's easier to determine which is which. So we want to take advantage of this and use every lane possible by moving swimmers up into the open lanes. We use the drag and drop feature. Again, left click with the mouse, drag the swimmer up. Move the mouse, the fish appears, the swimmer moves to the lane, let go when you get them where you want them. Rule of thumb, you want to drag swimmers from the closest to the top to the next heat available above that. So again, we're going to go from Heat 5 into Heat 4. We don't want to go from all the way down here to Heat 9 up to Heat 4. Usually most coaches will enter their swimmers in descending order, putting their faster swimmers in the earlier heats. So we want to try and keep that together if possible. Notice we're not as concerned with the odd even heat lane assignments. We just want to drag and drop and put swimmers into every available open lane. And this will be a very common situation for a great number of meets. And again, make sure you scroll all the way down, that you view every heat and you don't miss a heat that's below your field of vision, because there are so many heats that won't fit onto one screen. So we're dragging and dropping, moving the swimmers up into every available lane. And notice we started out with 9 heats, and if you get toward the end and you've just got a few swimmers left over, ideally, if you want to be really fancy, it's nice if you go ahead and work from the inside to the out, the middle of the pool out. So we just got 3 swimmers left over. We don't want to just stick them in lanes 1, 2, and 3. We would go lanes 3, 4, and maybe 5. So they're swimming in the middle of the pool. Once you're done with those changes, again, you need to save. If you click on save, it'll save the changes. Even if you tried to exit the screen like I'm going to do right now, after making all these changes, it's going to double check and say, wait a minute, you just made all these changes. You sure you want to leave this without saving? We do want to save, so click yes, and we're done with that event. Notice again the status has gone to seeded. That's okay. We made the changes and manually seeded the event. Notice again, the number of heats has gone from 9 down to 6. Every heat that you save in a particular meet is a savings of anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes. So again, this is a very important process. This consolidation process should be done by the home team and completed no later than 10 p.m. the night before the meet, so the home team can send a backup of the consolidated meet with all of the lane changes to the visiting team. So both teams have the ability to walk into the practice the next morning knowing what the new heat and lane assignments are and being able to start writing on the children's hands and arms what event, heat, and lane they're in. Again, it's unfair to the visiting team if you make all these lane changes and don't communicate it with them. So again, please make sure that this is done no later than 10 p.m. the night before the meet, and that a backup of this newly consolidated meet is emailed from the visiting team, from the home team to the visiting team.